Welcome back, me and all my green. But haven't done a makeup video in a while. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't done a makeup video. I just haven't done one. And the one that I tried to film a long time ago, I put it on my computer, well, my laptop, and then I noticed that I didn't even have my mic plugged in. So I was just like, girl, what? I wanted to do a really nice, not even like so much like a natural kind of look, but I wanted to do like a date night kind of look, something that I would wear on a date with my boo. Okay, so first, I didn't want the eye look to be super complicated, so I decided that I wanted to go for more of a glossy, natural eye. Like I wanted it to look like a glass eye. So I'm starting off with my Morphe 3502 palette, and I'm going in with a soft brown, a brown that will create the distinction between my actual skin tone. Of course, if you're a different skin tone, you want to pick a brown that really will complement your skin tone and that won't look like you're just blending in a color that's gonna blend into your actual skin, into your complexion. So I'm just going ahead and I'm picking up that light brown that's gonna create the distinction and putting it in my crease. And I'm starting with my Morphe fluffy eyeshadow brush because I'm just applying it to the ends of my actual eye and I'm working it into circular motions into my crease. Of course, you want to create that distinction, so remember, just start off at the end, apply the color there, and then work it into the crease. And be very soft and subtle with your movements because, you know, you don't need to jab yourself with the actual eyeshadow brush, but all I'm doing is creating a distinction. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to use a deeper brown, and this deeper brown is going to create a little bit more depth to the actual eye, the actual crease of my eye, and it's also going to give me even more of a distinction. So I'm placing that on the outer corner of my eye as well, and then I'm kind of working that into the crease subtly, and you'll see I'm using very nice light circular motions just to create that distinction in my crease area and just carve out my actual lid space. So after that, of course, both of them being very distinct, and you can see that depth that I created with my crease versus the crease in the eye. My eyelid pops a little bit more. So after that, I'm just gonna go in with another brown because, like I said, this look, I wanted it to be very brown, very natural, but I wanted it to be a little bit funner than the normal like neutral eye. So I wanted to create this like glossy brown eye. So I went in with a third brown. This third brown is even deeper. It's a little bit richer and it has like this reddish kind of pigment. I think it's like a reddish brown. So with this reddish brown, I'm applying this to the whole entire lid. And you can see the distinctions between the three browns. I think you can see that this. So one of my recent purchases was the Fenty. It's basically like the Fenty Profilter highlighter, and it is in diamond 24 karat. So I'm taking that on my fingertips and I just swiped it on my ring finger, and this is a very nice shimmery finely milled highlighter that you can use on your face or your body. I'm just going ahead and I'm going to tap this on top of that nice soft reddish brown on my actual lid. And it's like, I love this powder because it creates this really nice wet look to the eye. Then I'm going to go in with my fluffy eyeshadow brush again, and I'm just going to blend this out even further so that everything has that wet appearance, which I'm loving. So I'm just going in circular motions, blending that in. And then after I blend that in, we're going to move right into foundation. So for my foundation, I'm using, and I've kind of been biased lately, but I've been using Fenty Profilter foundation because that's one of my favorite foundations right now. Besides the fact that I'm an oily girl and I like more of a soft matte finish or matte finish, and sometimes I like dewy, this foundation is really nice if you want that natural, soft look and you don't want it to look too shiny. So I'm using my, of course, Real Techniques Beauty Blender, which is, I really like this. It's a fat beauty blender, so I feel like I can apply everything nice and quick. to be honest. And I'm just applying this all over my face, kind of cleaning up the eye as well on the side so it won't look so messy. Okay, so now that my foundation is blended in, what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm basically contouring. But of course, with contouring, you're just highlighting the areas that you want to stand out. And of course, everywhere else is going to recede. So it's going to look a little bit sharper, and it's going to it's going to be a little bit more drawn in. So of course, you've seen this millions of times. Normally, I do my contouring with my actual concealer. So I'm just putting the concealer. So all I'm doing is just putting the concealer in places that I want to really to stand out. And so I'm just applying it on my forehead, my nose, my under eyes, as well as my chin. And since my foundation is naturally a little bit darker, it's going to create that definition that I want. So that's a great thing about if you do go a shade darker in foundation. If you do use concealer, of course you don't have to use this much. If you want to define certain areas and make them stand out, you would of course place a lighter, not a significantly lighter color, but something that is going to be 2 shades lighter than your actual skin tone, just to create the distinction and create that really nice soft contour. So that's what I'm doing here. After that, I'm just blending it out with that Real Techniques beauty blender. Of course, if you wanted to add more, you could, but I'm pretty heavy-handed, so that's why I use so much, but you don't have to use as much as I'm using. And all I'm doing is just now blending this out, and you're gonna see it's gonna automatically make my face look a little bit more defined, and some areas are gonna look very nice and sharpened, and I really didn't even do too much. All I'm doing is just putting a little concealer, blending it in, and creating that distinction in my features. So now that I totally have blended out my concealer, what I'm doing is I'm going to go and pat over again my entire face to just make sure everything looks very seamless and there are no fine lines before I add any powder. Then I'll continue to powder. With my powder, of course, I'm using the Airspun powder, and it's a finely milled powder you can get from Walgreens or any drugstore, really, and it's very nice. It's a translucent powder, so it's white, but it doesn't leave a white cast. First, with your powder, you want to use a dampened beauty blender, and you want to make sure that you pat it and roll it into the skin so that you get a very smooth finish. And of course, getting every area, my under eyes, my nose, my forehead, and my chin. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to warm up my skin with a little bronzer. The reason why I really don't contour too much, like with a contour powder, is because I feel like this already is my contouring. With the bronzer, all I'm going to do is create that warmth in the skin, but then I'm also defining those areas again with this very warm bronzer. As you can see, it's going to create that nice chisel effect to the skin. And of course, if you wanted more of a dramatic definition, you could use a contour powder, but all I'm doing is creating that warmth and definition. Of course, highlight is a must because everyone likes that natural glow and that glowy look. So I'm using a highlighter I've used multiple times in the past, and also in one of my tutorials all about Allure's beauty steals, and that is the Wet n Wild highlighting powder. This powder is really nice. It's like a soft rose gold. So I'm just applying that with my highlighting brush. It's a little bit more of a flared highlighter brush from Morphe, and I'm just applying that, of course, on the high points of my cheeks. I'm applying that above my cupid's bow, my nose, and this is just going to create a very nice natural glow without it's not like that blinding glow, but it's more of a natural glow. I'm then going to go on with the only blush that I own right now, which I've been saying I want to get more blushes, but that is the NYX Ombre blush. You can't even see like the actual font on it anymore because I use it all the time. Blush is something that I feel like is a must-have with every makeup look I do. So now back into the eye. We're going to finish the eye up, and we're just going to take one of the first soft browns that I use, and we're just going to place that underneath the lower eye, on the lower eyelid. And I'm just brushing that in with that fluffy eyeshadow brush. So nothing too special, just brushing it in. I, of course, am not always a fan of winged eyeliner or using eyeliner all the time, but today I'm using a nice brown eyeliner, and that's going to create this very soft, sultry kind of look. So yeah, I'm using eyeliner, but I'm using a pencil eyeliner, and this one is by Sephora's collection. Lastly, we're doing a lip. Keeping in the brown family, brown all day. So I'm using a dark brown lip pencil, and of course this is one of the cult favorites. It's Chestnut, which is by MAC, and I'm just going to, you know, create this gradient glossy brown lip. Of course, if you are a different skin tone, you want to look for a brown that really complements your lip. So of course, swatch a couple out. You want it to be dark enough where it distinguishes your lips and makes your lips look a lot fuller and really nice, but you don't want it too light of a brown that it fades into your natural lip color. So if that makes sense, yeah, that's the kind of brown pencil like lip liner that you want to look for. So I'm just applying this on the outer corners of my lips, underneath my lip, and then I'm creating like a little gradient effect, as you can see on the lips, where it's going to make it really nice, like a cute pout. So after that, I'm of course going to go in with one of my favorite lip glosses. Like I said, I've been a little biased lately with makeup. Of course, not too biased, but pretty biased. And I'm using the Fenty lip gloss in Diamond Milk, and I just really like this because since I'm going for an all over glossy, very glossy look, very glossy eye, very glossy lip, I'm going in with the gloss, so it looks like glosses on my eyes and glosses on my lips. And this Diamond Milk is really nice because it makes it look very nice, and I feel like I'm giving like old school, like Aaliyah, or like, you know, just very nice, neutral, glossy. And it's just up. I'm gonna go back in with the eye, and I'm gonna use a little bit of the NYX mascara, Worth the Hype, another mascara that I mentioned in one of my videos as a beauty steal because it's affordable, but it creates like a very nice volume to your eyelashes. I'm not a big eyelash wearer. Of course, in the past I used to wear eyelashes, but now I feel like with the time that I have. So I like to thank all you guys for checking out my videos, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this date night look, and I hope you like the hair. As always, if you want to, you can subscribe and like the video if you like it. But this was my comeback makeup tutorial, and thank you guys so much. See you in my next one, and bye-bye.